Okay, we're gonna do a little flour sack character. And this is a great way to keep things simple without getting bogged down by like um, if you can draw or not. That's why like a sphere or a flour sack, it's a really good way to practice the principles of animation. I do a lot of these little exercises. But for this one, I mostly want to focus on doing half, okay? And I'll show you what I mean. So let's say we're going to do a little, let's just draw a little, you know what? Let's do him back this way. Okay, so we're just going to draw a little flour sack. Just kind of sitting here, okay? And I'm thinking volume. So I want to imagine he's like filled with like flour or sand. And little feet come up. Okay, it's kind of heavy down here. Okay. And so the first thing I want to do is tell the story. So I'm not even thinking about the frames or how many frames this is going to take. I just want to get my drawings in. Okay. So I'm going to scale him down just a bit. Just so I can get him to jump up through the air and land over here. Okay, so that's the goal. That's I want to tell the story of this little flour sack jumping. So I'm going to go to frame 2, turn on onion skinning, and let's say at his peak, maybe he is like really up here. Okay, so he's kind of really having a good jump. He's kind of been over, squashed, and I'm trying to think the volume. Okay, so this is more volume. It keeps it from being looking too flat. Okay, so this is his up, and then we got to make him land over here. So let's go to frame 3. And we are going to have him, his end pose, ta-da! He'll be kind of like he is now, or from the start. Like this will be his landing position, but over here. Okay. So I'm just drawing on ones. Okay, I'm just drawing. And if I hit play, it's like, whoa, this is really fast. Okay, so I need to add more drawings, and more drawings will slow it down. So let's say I want to have an in-between between his start and his up. So I'm going to insert a frame to give me more space and turn on onion skinning, and this will be my drawing going up to this up. So I can either, we have a lot of options here. So I can either do a halfway point, like if I just did him halfway, he's already starting to come up. This is just a straight halfway drawing, right? Boom, up to there. And see how it looks just kind of like boring and plain and not very interesting. So what I'm going to do is on this one I'm going to favor, let's get his top part up here faster, and we can drag. We could try to make this real cartoony, stretched out, and his feet are like dragging, and maybe his arms or his his arms. These little things on top. Maybe they're there. Okay, so now let's hit play. Okay, it's looking better, but it's still really fast, okay? But instead of just messing with timing and getting all screwed up over here, what I can do is just keep drawing. So let's do add another drawing after one, and that scoots everything down, and we can do an anticipation, right? So like, let's say he's like really kind of, let's try to get this to bulge out. Again, I'm trying to think volume. He's squashing down. We could squash him even further if we wanted. That's up to us. Gonna kick his feet out a little. So he's gonna squash down, and then he's gonna jump off, okay? So let's hit play. It's still really fast, but we're getting there, okay? And so that's, when I talk about working in halves, that's what I mean. So I'm gonna work in between 1 and 2. So I'm gonna create a frame. That way it gives me space to do a drawing in between this key pose and this key pose, okay? And then maybe I want a drawing in between this anticipation and this up. So let's create space in there. And now let's say I want a drawing in between this stretched out pose and his up pose. So let's create space in there. And he's gonna hold it up, but I want a drawing in between the up and where he's landed. So let's create a drawing there. So now I'm on 2s. I'm holding each drawing for 2 frames. But if I needed, and this way I can do a drawing halfway. Like if I just wanted to do halfway, let's auto renumber this. Halfway between 3 and 5, like physically draw halfway point, I can go to frame 4 and I can see, okay, the top of his head's here, and in the previous frame it's down here, so I could do a drawing like right here, halfway. Or I can favor this up, or I can favor this down, or I could even shoot past this down where he squishes even further down and his legs kick out. Do you see that? And then he takes off. Boom. And so if I know I want to hold a drawing longer, like frame 1, I'm going to space it out to where, let's add 2 drawings in here. So now I can add a drawing. Let's auto renumber this. I can add a drawing halfway on my dope sheet and halfway on my drawing if I wanted. So let's go turn on onion skinning. So at drawing 3, I can choose to either start easing out of this first drawing, or I can choose to ease in to this anticipation, or I can just hold this drawing. So let's just hold this first drawing. We're just going to draw over it. Okay. So now from 2, let's make sure we have a halfway point. So let's go, we'll add 2 drawings. And this way we could do a drawing at frame 5. And I'm going to auto renumber just so I keep everything really clean over here on my X sheet. Okay, so let's do a drawing at 5. And we're just going to hold him up here again. This is his starting pose, okay? Let's auto renumber. And now he's going to start coming down. So let's create inner 2 frames in between what was 5 and 7. Now it's 5 and 9. And so at 7, we can start easing out of this. And we could drag these if we wanted. Do you see that? How those can drag? And he can start, like maybe he pushes his chest forward before he comes down. Ooh. And then I want to ease into this anticipation right here. So let's create let's auto renumber. I'm constantly auto renumbering everything. I'm going to give myself space in here and here and auto renumber. Because I like to have everything really clean. I like to have my whatever frame I'm on match whatever drawing on my X sheet is, right? Like 1 and 1, 3 and 3, 5 and 5. To me, it just keeps it organized and clean. And I can tell if I'm working on 2s, because all of these are odd numbers. And if I have an even number, like an 8, like say in here, we do number 8, then I know I'm on 1s. Okay, so we could drag those. So now in here, 7, 8, 9, I know I'm on 1s, 1 drawing for every frame. Let's go down, let's hold 9. Let's hold this anticipation longer. Okay, so I'm going to add 1, 2. That would give me a drawing at 3. Well, let's add more, but still keep it where we can do halves. Okay, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 more, and that will give us room. He's going to hold this anticipation, but like we could do a drawing at 13. I'm just going to do this real quick so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So we can do a drawing at 13, but now that gives us halves for 9 to 13. So I can go over here and do half at 11. And I could stop there because now it puts this on 2s. Or if I needed to add a drawing between 9 and 11, I have the room to do that. I could add a drawing at 10 if I wanted. Okay. And now the same between 13 and 17. It gives me space enough to where I can do half would be 15. And now we could start to drag this. He's starting to push down. And to me, this is where it becomes really fun and exciting, when everything's organized and you can just focus on your animation, right? So let's go ahead and auto renumber all this. Make sure everything matches up. Okay, let's hit play. So he's going to come down and jump. And the same thing, if we want to hold him in the air longer, let's do it on 8. We'll add 1, 2, let's see, at 21 we'll add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that will give us, that will put 23 at 29. I know this may sound confusing, but it'll start making sense the more you do it. So now between 21 and 29, we can do a halfway drawing at 25. Like this could be him, like, so he's up in the air, and then we just hold that. Maybe his butt's starting to come down a little. These are starting to drag. Okay, and that gives us space between 21 and 22 to do half. So in here, we could do, we're just doing a straight halfway between, in between. Okay. And then as he comes down, see, it gives us space. We could do a drawing at 27 where, let's say let's say this foot's already touched. This one hasn't touched yet. And he's like stretched out. Okay, let's hit play. Okay, this drawing right here is super messy. So what I'm going to do is just quickly redraw it. Because I think it was really taken away from the action. Down. Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking in halves, where I want a drawing where I can do halfway and still keep my timeline like really clean. So let's auto renumber this. Okay, so as he comes up to here, so 19 to 21, I want to create space in here. But I want to create, I added 2 frames. That way I can do a drawing halfway between this drawing and our new like number 23 drawing. So this will be 21, halfway between 19 and 23. Okay, so we can favor this. I think maybe this is starting to come up. Maybe this leg's coming up, but this one still is dragging. Or maybe this is coming up like this. trying to think volume. Okay. And so as he lands, like we could have, like in here, I want him to start stretching that foot out between 27 and 29. Let's go in here, and he'll start reaching. Let's have him start reaching that foot down. Maybe it comes down like this. Really kind of stretch it. Okay, and then as he hits, let's hold that last frame. We're just gonna hold it like just a few frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Okay, so boom. So we need more drawings in here. Let's auto renumber. So I just added 2 drawings, okay? 2 frames. That way I can do a drawing halfway at 33 if I want. So, like this is gonna hit, this foot will still drag. Maybe this is still... Whoosh. And then let's add 2 more. Get this foot down. Get him like, let's have him come over, but these are still dragging. Add 2 more, and then he can come up. These will overlap and come down. Let's add 2 more drawings to where he's settling. But these, add 2 more drawings. I'm just kind of straight ahead animating this right now. So these are going to flop. Add 2 more drawings. So I'm just repeating this whole process of adding 2 frames. See, now we can flop that down. Let's get this one right there. Okay. Boing. So this is mostly on 2s. In through here is on 1s. And we could go back and smooth this out. Let's go ahead and auto renumber. And we could go through and do drawings on every frame. But I like the feeling of things being on 2s, except for the super fast actions. And then I feel like it needs to be on 1s. Okay, I was really not happy with the ending, how he was landing. So I went back and I reanimated the ending. Let me show you what I did. So the first part, I have a drawing 1, 2, 3, and 4. And he's pretty much in this exact same spot. And then I just held that, I looped it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then I started him coming down and the anticipation, and then the other anticipation before he shoots off. I added a little bit of a shadow. So I did this first part on 1s and then I switched to 2s. And then at around frame 33, I went back to ones. And instead of reaching for that foot, I kind of had his butt like lead. And he comes down. Doing. Okay. And that's our little flower sack jumping. And just remember, keep it simple and give yourself enough space to do another drawing if you need to. Okay? Happy animating, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.